Hey guys, right, okay, so Hobao SSTE, not a standard SSTE either, mind. I've done a lot of work to this track. I really like this platform. It's been absolutely rock solid. It's been tough, reliable, fast. I can't really ask much more for this. As I say, this was a present. If you want to know the backstory on this truck, plenty of videos on the channel about this. Just a quick recap of what we got going on here. We've got some Kogan billet chassis braces, front and rear, and also towers, I should say. We've got a Surpass Rocket V2 4282 2150 kV motor running on a 18 tooth pinion, a Hobbywing 8BL 150 G2 ESC, and also one of my favorite servos for a budget is the DS3230 Pro Servo. Now, always room for improvement, as you know, with anything on the channel, guys. I do a lot of wrenching and I do a lot of upgrading. Now, a good friend of mine decided to surprise me and send me over a cheeky little upgrade for this truck. And we've got the Hobao 7075 steering knuckles. As you can see, guys, the part number for this is OP0002. If anyone wants to follow along with the upgrades and stuff, I will put a link in the description to these. I really like the way this truck is starting to form. There's a couple of other things we're going to be doing as well. So we're going to be obviously adding the upgraded knuckles for the rear, the hub carriers for the rear. And also on top of which, we are going to be changing up the chassis to the 7075 variant. I think once all that is said and done, what we'll then do is give it a new set of tyres, a new body as well, and yeah, just freshen the truck up a little bit. But this is an absolutely awesome platform. It's been rock solid, it's fast, and a lot of fun. I think what we're going to do first, guys, is obviously remove the wheels, and then I'll show you the parts we're going to be replacing, and then what we'll do is start fitting these to the actual vehicle. Hope you're all well. See you in a second. I'm just going to start get the tools I need, and we'll carry on from there. Right, guys, so as you can see, the part we're actually going to be replacing on this vehicle today is actually this front caster block. Now, as you can see, it is composite. No, don't get me wrong, I will say that obviously I haven't had any issue with this setup at all. But we are going to be replacing this and replacing it with this 7075 part. I'm not sure the actual pricing of these. As I say, this was actually a present for me. But guys, what you're going to get is a lot more strength in here. I will see if there's an actual hub carrier that we can actually replace further down the line. But so far, I will say that these have held up admirably. I haven't had any issues, as per se. But it's always nice to improve the truck as we're going along. Now, what I'm going to need for this, by the looks on things, is my hex drivers. And then a little bit of Loctite as well, if you've got some. And because we are going to be putting on metal parts, and I will recommend, if you've got any metal parts too, make sure you Loctite them down. And then just check for binding. By the way, I do have the upgraded 6mm Hobao hub extenders on the vehicle as well. So yeah, let's go from there, guys. Let's go from there. Right, okay, guys, so what we're going to actually need to do here is remove the whole of this section. So there are two 2.5mm button head screws on each side of the arm that you're going to need to remove, obviously, with the driver. Once you've done that, then obviously it will start moving away, as you can see. There is also it looks like possibly a 5mm nut there and one there. Again, using a 2.5, you can remove this off the vehicle. Just make sure that you pinch it like so. Well, for example, just put my pliers on and then just release this off. So I'm going to try and work on, obviously, per side now. Make sure that you're keeping all your screws. I've got a handy dandy, as you can see, little metal tray that I'm going to put everything inside. And then just remove the screws. And again, there's one screw underneath. But I think we should be able to, let's just have a look. So that ball will pop out. And then just looking at it, I think that's a 2mm there. Let me just check. Is that 2? There, yeah, that's 2. So again, just remove this like so. Use your 2mm driver. Where's it going? Where's it going? That's actually a little bit easier there. So 2mm driver, like so. Make sure you pinch the nut on this side, Now bearing in mind, you will have your drive shaft come out with it as well, because they are CVDs, not dog bones. So there you go, that's my nut, that's removed off like so, and then this screw should just come out like that. Now, so that will release obviously all the parts you need. Just going to pause it 2 seconds and then reset the camera up. Okay guys, so as you can see, it's all removed out. Now I have actually noticed I bent the drive shaft here, so I'm going to go have a go straightening that out in a second. So what we now need to do is also you remove the hex, so we can actually pull the drive shaft out, because we're going to reuse the drive shaft, reuse the bearings, and obviously pop them inside the new carriers. And then obviously that's going to give me access to the rest of removing this part off. So yeah, just carry on as you go along. Let's have a look. 2mm by there. So we now need to take this out. Make sure that you do Loctite this back in as well. One thing I will say with Hobao is I love this kind of lock-in hex wheel nut that they put on there. You don't want to use too much Loctite, because you could further down the line have issues taking it out. And I'm just going to pop that out by there. Get myself a 1.5. Actually, it does look like it needs a little bit more loosening off. There you go. And the pin should just drop out now. There you go, there's the pin. Remove your hex. Pull your drive shaft out, like so. Alright, so there's your drive shaft. Now what we need to do now is obviously remove the bearing, which is actually quite a snug fit, so that's not too bad. I am going to be checking these bearings to see, make sure that they're all working okay. There you go, there's one. Bearing seems fine, just needs a bit of a clean. Probably put some some bearing oil on there. I've got some average bearing slip as well. And the back one, yeah, again, a little bit dirty, but nothing major. As you can see, absolutely awesome. Right, okay, give me 2 seconds guys and I'll come straight back to you. Right, so if you look guys, there's actually two 1.5mm screws there, here and here. Alright, so if you get your screwdriver in, and these will release these guide pins. A nice little feature, I will say, by Hobao, is actually locking those pins in place so they don't drop out. I'm going to take those out now. There's, as you can see, nice long 1.5mm screw there. One there. And then another one, like so. There you go. Now, you should release these pins. There you go, there's a screw. And then that's what was stuck inside. And again, like so. So then now we're going to reuse this part. We're going to replace this part, guys, as you can see. So, right. Put that aside to one side. Keep this part there. I'm going to keep all the parts in one place. I'm going to remove that over there. Let's have a look in this package, shall we? A pair of scissors. There you go. Now I'm hoping they should say left and right. So there you go. There's the left. We're actually replacing the right hand side. As you can see, it's right on there. So move the left there. Okay, now what you are going to have to do, guys, there's these little carbon fiber inserts, all right, there. So we're going to need to mimic this angle, all right, and put these screws in. Now, when I said about Loctite, you're going to want your Loctite for the screw holes here and here. So the screws that we're going to be attaching, obviously the carbon fibre part to, we're going to put a little dab of Loctite, obviously, to keep those screws in. There you go. So there's your carbon fibre parts. Absolutely lovely. Really nicely made. And the same for that side. And then obviously your screws are in this pack here. We're going to get those out. Now, I know some of you might say this is probably not rocket science, but it is. Obviously this is me recording the process. As I say, this is my hobby. I'm not a professional YouTuber or anything like that. This is me recording what I enjoy doing, and yeah. So, looking at it, guys, as you can see, so the top, let me get this correct now. Top, yeah. So the R is replicating the top of the arm here. So it might look actually upside down, but I'm gonna hazard a guess. Let's have a look. Yeah. So there you go. And the good thing is with this is you are now going to get 2 extra mounting positions for your turnbuckle should you want to change the angle. Just going to clean up the bearings. Give me a second. Right, guys. So just a little tip for you. As you can see, I've cleaned the bearings up. All right, everything's absolutely fine. Just to make sure that these stay tip top. This Avid slip bearing oil that I use, guys, is absolutely awesome. It's something I used to use when I was racing. And by using this, I've found my bearings last really long. So what I tend to do with this stuff is just basically give it a little coating around the edge here. As you can see, little coating, let that sink in, like so. All right, and then I'm going to repeat the process, obviously, with this bearing here. All right, and this will actually keep my bearings nice, really nice. I've had great success with this stuff. It's not expensive. I think I paid around about, in UK money, around about £4, £5. I'm not sure what that would actually equate to in dollars. But yeah, it's good stuff. It keeps my bearings smooth, everything working nicely, all lubricated. And this one's now feeling absolutely awesome. No issues there. Really, really nice. So what we're going to do now, all right, is we're just going to add the parts I need to add to this one. Now, bearing in mind, on the car, they would actually sit at this sort of angle, like so. All right, they're not towards the front. They lean towards the rear. So the part we're actually going to need to add here is this part here, the carbon fibre part, and then start reassembling it. Now, as I mentioned, get your Loctite, like so. I always put it on top of a little sheet now these days, especially when I work with small screws. Just add a little smear on top. There you go. All right. And then get your screws and your driver. And I just add a little, if you add too much, the good thing is when it's on cellophane, you can kind of rub it off. So just add in this part. Let's have a look. Which way does these actually meant to go properly? So it looks like these would, yeah, like that. All right. So as you can see, the part is actually going, so it leans on an angle rather than outwards, like so. All right. So you actually put the carbon fibre, I believe. No, actually, yeah. So, as you can see, is that right? Or is that right? Here's the question for you. I don't think it really matters, to be honest with you. Let's have a look at this. So this is the part that's going to replicate. We want the screw. Good question. I think I'm going to go with this. All right, I'm going to add that part. Yeah, I'm going to add that part like that. Right, okay. just put the screw through like so, and then into the metal. There's one. Make sure you got your hole lined up like so. Okay, same again. Add a bit of Loctite in there, or thread locker, whichever, whatever you want to call it. And then we put this part in like that. Okay, that actually looks about right, to be honest with you. As you can see, screws all Loctited in. These will actually set now by the time I get a chance to use them. So what we need to do is obviously, know this bearings had chance on the front. I'm just going to place this into the carrier like so. I'm going to wipe a little bit of excess off it in a moment. Got hiccups. And then place this bearing in like so. Actually, if it'll go into the carrier, mind, I'll be honest with you. Let's try it this way, shall we? There you go. So that's now pressed in. As you can see, one in there, one in there. Right, remember the screws we were on about earlier, guys. So we're now, let's see where this connects up. So that would be at the top, steering. As you can see, so this is at the bottom. And then obviously that leans in, right? Yeah, so that looks fine. What we need to do is get the screws we added just now, or took out, sorry, I should say. So one drops in, this is your guide, one drops in like that, there's your other guide, and then we now need to add those two hex screws, the 1.5s, again using a little bit of Loctite on the screw, like so, don't want too much, just in case we ever need to take it back off. To tighten that screw back down. You can actually wrench down on that one a little bit if you wanted to. A little bit of Loctite again on your screw. Okay, so that should be the finished product there, guys, as you can see. So what happens, steering, all right, bearings are nice and free as well, no issues there, very, very nice. And I do like the way that looks, actually. I'm going to see if I can try and find the caster block here, possibly in metal as well, or maybe I might just leave a composite, I don't know, see what happens. But anyway, the hub, the steering knuckle itself, obviously the bearing carrier or hub carrier, whichever way you want to look at it, that seems better. All I need to do now is straighten out this drive shaft a little bit. We're going to pop that back in and go from there. Okay, so just obviously adding this back in now, as you can see. What we need to do now, I added a little bit of Loctite to this pin. I do like the way Hobao have done that, actually, as well. Is, you know, a lock-in screw that goes into the hexes, so you know that's going to be safe and, you know, everything's okay. So I'm now going to re-add this to the vehicle. As you can see, all looking really sweet and sexy. Nice little option. Thank you very much. Obviously, the gentleman who's hooked me up with this part, he wanted to remain anonymous. Some people will know him, some people won't. But it was a little bit unusual that Hobao had added the R on top. Now, just to let you know, obviously that is correct. I have checked in the online, but it does seem that the R is at the top. Messes with my OCD a little bit, but there you go. But yeah, all absolutely awesome, all fitted, everything's nice. There you go, guys, so all fitted to the vehicle, all looking really swanky, really nice. Now, it's not all just about looks, all right? So let's not cut the mustard here and think, yo, this is all aesthetic. It's not, guys. what this is actually doing is creating a little bit of durability to the vehicle. And in the sense of, obviously, this will actually take a lot more strain now, especially when we're throwing the vehicle around. And on top of which, it will actually give the steering a little bit more of a positive feel to it. Really, really impressed with the quality of these Hobao parts. There are obviously other upgrades you can buy from other manufacturers, as I mentioned before. But so far, I'm very, very happy with the way this is looking. And coming together, the car is absolutely awesome. Going to concentrate now on doing the rear hub carriers, as we mentioned. And also on top of which, then, we're going to be changing out this chassis. But yeah, one totally modified SSTE is on its way. I'm really, really happy. Want to say thank you, obviously, to the gentleman who hooked me up with the parts. He wished to remain anonymous, so thank you, mate. I do appreciate it. You know who you are. Some might as well, actually, to be honest with you. And I want to thank each and everyone who obviously for watching these videos at the moment, guys. Really, really, obviously over the moon with the response on how everything is going. All the likes, all the shares and the subscribes. I honestly can't thank you enough. So this is obviously back on the vehicle. I'm not going to expect you to watch me do the other side, guys, because obviously the video, I don't want to drag that on too long. There is a massive video going to be coming out on this weekend. I'm actually off to pick up a new toy. As a lot of you already know, I've put a post up in the community tab as well. And till next time, guys, check the box for more videos. You stay awesome. Thank you very much for watching. Take care.